Well, hello and welcome to the Eagle's Nest, the audio retelling of Charlie Suprasinski's great book, Soaring with the Eagles, the Copper Peak Story. And this is episode 29. We are finishing up the story about the Gogebic Range and how it became a mecca for winter sports. 1939 saw the area's first cross-country marathon. The success of the Gogebic Range Ski Club in developing the Wolverine site in the late 1930s encouraged the club to promote other winter sports. The ski club was at the height of its popularity and activity, fielding the largest and strongest ski jumping team in the country. Ski jumping is one arm of Nordic skiing and also includes cross-country skiing. The club worked with representatives of the community of Mercer, Wisconsin, located 25 miles south of Ironwood, to co-sponsor the Mercer Ski Derby, the area's first cross-country ski marathon. Ani Hill of Iron Belt captures the first annual Mercer Ski Derby was the headline. Ani Hill, 30-year-old from Iron Belt, captured the annual Mercer Ski Derby yesterday in the fast time of 3 hours and 39 minutes, as a fine crowd turned out for the Mercer winter events held under the sponsorship of Mercer residents with the aid of the Gogebic Range Ski Club. Ani Hill completed the estimated 24-mile trek just 2 minutes ahead of Toivo Julkinen of Wakefield and walked off with the first prize of $30. 10 started the race from Ironwood yesterday morning about 1 o'clock and 7 finished. The club gave Emil Venberg, a 51-year-old Bessemer contestant, a nice hand when he crossed the finish line, apparently untired. "Give me a bowl of hot soup, find me a skiing partner, and I'll ski back," he remarked, and this was in the Globe of 1939. The winter sports of cross-country and downhill skiing were beginning to emerge throughout the area. Not everyone had the whereabouts or the wherewithal to take up the sport of ski jumping from Ironwood's. Ironwood's Joe Marine had entered a cross-country marathon race from Duluth to Minneapolis 1 year earlier, another example of a committed and dedicated cross-country skier was described in a news release out of Milwaukee. Beating his planned time by 5 minutes, Gene Liu, 24, ski instructor and Boy Scout leader, arrived here yesterday after a 103-mile non-stop ski hike from Appleton. Liu left Appleton early Thursday, his lapse time being 32 hours and 55 minutes. Liu said he followed Highway 41 down the west side of Lake Winnebago and did not stop to sleep. The only trouble he had, he said, was from unbelieving truck drivers and suspicious farm dogs. In 1940, the Gogebic Range Ski Club was promoting recreational skiing. Recreational skiing was becoming more popular with the installation of a new rope tow at Mount Zion in time for the 39-40 ski season. The tow was considered to be the longest in the Midwest. This was one of the many WPA projects and also included the installation of lights for night skiing and the construction of a warming shelter. On January 10th of 41, an informational meeting was held for the purpose of organizing a slalom club under the auspices of the Gogebic Range Ski Club. On the 16th of January 1941, the club was formally organized, electing officers and adopting bylaws. Some 37 interested skiers enrolled as charter members of the club. Several were members of the Gogebic Range Ski Club. By the end of January 1941, an additional 30 members had enrolled in the club. On February 9th of 41, the ski club sponsored its first downhill and slalom races as the last event of the Ironwood 1941 Winter Carnival. Nearly 1,200 people watched the first races held on Mount Zion. For the first time, skiers from outside the area began to recognize the winter recreational opportunities of the Ironwood area. Here's a headline from the Daily Globe of February 22, 1941. Chicago ski enthusiasts here for the weekend. 40 skiers from Chicago were welcomed into Ironwood in white at 8 o'clock this morning on the weekend ski train, sponsored by the Chicago and Northeastern Railroad Company and the Chicago Herald-American, the first ski train in Ironwood for the winter. The sportsmen and women were met at the station by City and Association of Commerce officials, including the mayor of Ironwood, Ewald Johnson, railroad men, reporters, and photographers. Skiing conditions at Mount Zion today are perfect, with the temperatures at 17 degrees above zero and a light snow in the air. The snowfall here is more than 100 inches so far this year. The skiing experience of the Chicago group in Ironwood appeared to be very positive. One skier, Miss Winifred Doreen, liked Ironwood so well that she took time to write a long letter concerning her impressions that she received when she was here. Miss Doreen likes Ironwood better than any other skiing center in this area. She says, "There is more at Ironwood, better and more snow, more beautiful scenery, and more open country with a lot more variety. I was very sorry I had not known more about Ironwood because I would have spent my entire vacation there. Ironwood certainly has it all over Iron Mountain and Wausau and a few other skiing places." The development of the downhill ski area at Mount Zion in the early 1940s was a prelude to the Gogebic Range becoming the premier recreational ski area in the Midwest. Who would have been able to predict at that time that Ironwood and the Gogebic Range would, starting in the early 1960s, become a downhill skiing mecca? In addition to Mount Zion, 4 major ski hills would be built on the Gogebic Range by 1977. In nearby Ontonagon County, the newly installed rope tow became operational in the Porcupine Mountain ski area, and that was in 1941, and that was a prelude for the development of that site into a major ski area. 1950 saw alpine competitors emerging. Interest in both recreational and competitive downhill skiing continued to grow on the Gogebic Range. The Gogebic Range Ski Club had been active in promoting downhill and slalom and had sent several skiers to compete at the Central Championships. Here's a headline from the 1950 February 27th edition of the Daily Globe. Helen Lemmer wins ski title. Helen Lemmer, 17, a senior at St. Ambrose Parochial High School, was crowned the Central Ski Association's women's champion Saturday at La Crosse, Wisconsin, in the downhill event. Miss Lemmer dethroned last year's champion. In addition, she took second place in the women's slalom and also took second place in the combined event. Other entries included Ray Nydal and John Kuhlman Jr. from the area. Mount Zion proved to be an excellent training facility for downhill and slalom racing. 2 Ironwood skiers made their mark at the Junior Central Downhill Championship at Rib Mountain in Wausau the weekend of February 3rd and 4th, 1951. Young skiers representing the Gogebic Range Ski Club participated in 4 events. On Saturday, John Kuhlman placed first in the boys downhill, age 17, and Marguerite Lemmer earned second in the girls downhill, age 15 and 16. On Sunday, Marguerite Lemmer won the Class 2 girls slalom age 15 and 16. The Lemmer sisters made their mark in competitive downhill slalom skiing in the past 2 years in the Central Division. 1953 saw a big surge in recreational skiing. Recreational downhill skiing was growing rapidly in the area, and the Ironwood Junior Chamber of Commerce decided to add a second tow to the Mount Zion facilities. Addition of the tow will open up slopes at Mount Zion previously not used, slopes described as ski runs second to none in the Midwest. Members of the Mount Zion Ski Club will do the majority of the work on the new slide area. The plans to add the additional tow were set off by the local success of handling of the ski train here last weekend. The Ironwood Junior Chamber of Commerce explained that the following weekend, 300 skiers graced the slopes of Mount Zion of a Chicago Ski Club train party. 150 members of a Chicago ski train party joined with the local skiers to pack the slide and tow to near capacity. At times, a line of over 200 feet in length formed at the bottom of the hill, waiting for a place on the ski tow. Skiing continued throughout the afternoon until about 3:45, when the ski tow's engine ran out of gas. At this juncture, an army of skiers began the long, laborious task of climbing the 1,300-foot hill to end the operations for the day. With cross-country skiing gaining in popularity, an interesting article appeared in the Daily Globe on Saturday, February 13th of 1960, extolling the virtues of the sports. Some excerpts follow. Too much emphasis is being placed solely on downhill skiing and not enough on cross-country skiing, believes Dan Josert, head ski instructor at Muskie Mountain Ski Area, St. Woodruff. He believes the majority of skiers are missing an enjoyable segment of the sport when they fail to take advantage of cross-country trekking on skis. To prove his point, he recently completed a 56-hour cross-country trek on skis in the dense wooded area from Berglund to White Pine to Mirror Lake in the Porkies and returned to his car the third day. 1960 saw the high school skiers win the UP title. Ironwood High School sent an 18-man ski team to compete in the Upper Peninsula Regional Ski Meet at Iron Mountain the weekend of February 13th and 14th of 1960. Teams from Ironwood, Iron Mountain, Hancock, Houghton, Marquette, Kingsford, Ishpeming, Wakefield, Bessemer, and Hurley, Wisconsin, were expected to compete in 4 events: jumping, cross-country, slalom, and downhill. The 10th annual UP High School Ski Championships were scheduled as part of Snow Carnival, with the downhill and slalom races set for Friday, February 17, 1971. Because of icy conditions at Mount Zion, these 2 events were rescheduled for Wednesday, March 1st, 1961, at Indian Head Mountain. The Daily Globe headline on Thursday, March 2nd, 1961, describes the Ironwood victory. Ironwood wins UP Ski Championship. Ironwood Ski Devils completed the clean sweep of the top honors in the 10th annual Regional High School Ski Meet Wednesday by adding the Boys Alpine Championship to the Nordic crown captured on February 18th. Coach Theron Peterson's boys copped the Alpine Trophy by winning first place in the team standings in both the downhill and slalom events staged yesterday at Indian Head Mountain. The Nordic ski events were held as scheduled on February 18th, with the Ironwood team taking first place in both the jumping and cross-country race. The Ironwood boys then swept all 4 events of the meet and added 2 trophies to the school's collection. Ironwood also won the Nordic championship last year. In the jumping competition at Quarry Hill on February 18th, Ironwood placed 6 skiers in the top 11 positions, with Dave Engstrom capturing first place in a field of 14 jumpers. In the cross-country event, 5 Ironwood skiers placed in the top 13 positions, with Chris Vizanko finishing a close second in a 2-mile race run at Mount Zion. 27 skiers participated in the cross-country event. The alpine events at Indian Head Mountain were highlighted by Bob Aki's second-place finish in the boys' slalom, Dennis Kanutala's third-place finish, and Bob Tragimbo's seventh-place finish. In the boys' downhill, Bruce Siskinen's fourth-place finish and Bob Tragimbo's ninth-place finish, along with 2 other high-place finishes by Team Ironwood, were strong enough to win the downhill event. Wakefield's Dick Nelson placed 5th, and 2 Bessemer skiers, Dave Painter and John Thors, placed respectively 6th and 7th in the downhill. The best performances by area girls included Susan Corpy of Wakefield, who finished 8th, and Michelle Peters of Ironwood, who finished 9th in the girls' downhill event. Sedella Thibault of Wakefield finished 5th in the slalom. After a 7-year hiatus, the Ironwood Chamber of Commerce once again sponsored the Dog Derby as part of Snow Carnival Week. The event was held on Saturday morning, February 20th, 1960, and it would prove to be the last such event of its kind to be held on the Gogebic Range, and the results are in the appendix, of course. 1976 brought us the Wolverine Cross-Country Trails. The Wolverine Committee of the Gogebic Range Ski Club was committed to not only developing the jumping program at the site, but envisioned a Nordic complex that included cross-country skiing as well. During the summer months, efforts were made to secure leases on properties near the Wolverine site for a trail. A 5-kilometer hospital loop, intermediate loop, and novice 2K loop were part of the original plans. Work would commence on the trails in September under cooler temperatures. As of November 1st, more than 1 mile of trail had been brushed. The committee was still working to secure easements for the proposed trail system. The announcement of the creation of the cross-country ski hills at Wolverine sparked interest in the sport by a number of individuals in the area. There were discussions focusing on the creation of a cross-country ski club, but it would be several years before they would organize. The Wolverine cross-country ski trails, built in 1976 by the Wolverine Committee of the Gogebic Range Ski Club, were the first such trail systems to be developed on the Gogebic Range. Since that time, a half-dozen other trails have been developed in the area. The Wolverine Nordic Ski Club assumed responsibility for the development and maintenance of the ski jumps, trails, and facilities at the site in 1981. The club has been active from its inception. It has sponsored annual ski jumping meets for both junior and senior competitors from 1975 to 1995. Also, the club has sponsored cross-country competitions nearly every year since its first organization. The trails have been continuously improved, a warming facility has been added, and a storage facility has been built to store modern trail grooming equipment. With interest in cross-country skiing on the increase, the future looks bright for Wolverine. It is hoped the club will consider redeveloping the ski jumping aspect of Nordic skiing and preserve the sport's rich legacy. And on that hopeful note, we've run out of time for this episode of The Eagle's Nest. This is your narrator, Dan McMahon, saying thank you for listening to these episodes of The Eagle's Nest. I hope you've enjoyed them. I sure have, and it's been very educational for me to do these episodes and go back in time and bring back memories of all those great people that settled in this area and got the sport of ski jumping and skiing in general to be so popular. Remember that every episode, 29 of them or so, are on YouTube, so you can go back and just look for that goofy eagle on the top of the scaffold, and that's how you can tell you're at our episodes. And they're all numbered and they're sequential, and you can go back anytime in and out and listen to an episode or tell somebody else about it who might be interested. There are several ways to see and hear us. If you have a smart TV or a smartphone or tablet, you can download the YouTube app and use the 4 search terms, Copper Peak Eagle's Nest. Our Copper Peak episodes are there all the time, and the episodes are labeled consecutively and will run sequentially. In other words, when you finish one episode, the next episode will play. Also, you can see and hear episodes on your phone or browser at the following URL: www.youtube.com/@CopperPeak784. All the episodes are labeled. Don't forget to like and subscribe us. It's free, and it won't cost you anything, and it helps us. And as you may know, Copper Peak has a live streaming site with live webcams at our Copper Peak Hill site that you can access by going directly to the live cam at www.twitch.tv/copper_peak. Eagle's Nest episodes play on or near the half hour. The live cam features views of the Copper Peak facility as well as a view of the surrounding terrain and Lake Superior from atop the Copper Peak Tower, plus news and homemade entertainment and historical narratives by Charlie Suprasinski, the author of Soaring with the Eagles, the Copper Peak story on which this narrative is based. We're also on Copper Peak Radio on 102.1 FM at 6:08 a.m. and p.m. and 11:08 a.m. and p.m. Central Time. Copper Peak Radio is a low-power FM station, so you need to be within a few miles from Copper Peak to hear it. Charlie's book is available at the Depot Historical Society Museum and Chamber of Commerce office in Ironwood, and also at the Downtown Art Place in Ironwood. Once again, thanks for joining us here at the Eagle's Nest. See you the next time, and think Copper Peak. Bye now.